Hi everyone, it's Karen and I'm back with my second design team project for AngeldreamCraftsKim on Etsy. And this time, as I had mentioned in an earlier video, I did a reusable cover for a composition notebook. And I used gorgeous laces and trims and bling and flowers from Kim's shop, and I will leave links to her shop in the description box below, and I also will leave links to the other designers who are currently designing for her and making beautiful projects with supplies from her store. And I know all of us as designers are just hoping to inspire you with what we make and some of the tutorials that we do so that you can see how to use the products in Kim's shop. This pretty cover was created on a linen and cotton mat, and it has actually, someone has stitched in their initials in the corner right here below these flowers, and so you can see that on the back side of it. And I used that as the base for my design. And then I also used this pretty diamond painting that I did, and it's of a hummingbird in a circle of flowers. And then I put that on some heavy cardboard and I glued that to the cover. And it's all completely removable. This is the composition notebook inside, and I'll just take it out so I can show you. It just very easily comes off of there. And I just covered the composition notebook with some cardstock. I'll just take that out of the way. You can see the beautiful linen and cotton mat that I used, and there's the initials in the corner. This is the original cotton trim. It was on the sides and on the bottom and top. I took it off the bottom, but I reapplied it to the top on the inside to finish the inside off. And then around the image, I cut up that lace that I had in my design team package that had the leaves on it, and I've used it in other projects this month as well. If you've seen my other two videos, you'll see the other ways I used it. In this one, I cut it into strips of either 3 or single pieces and used it to go edge around this diamond painting, and then added a grouping of them here. And then at the top, I added in 2 of the pretty little scroll trim that was in my design team package, and also this lace was in my design team package, sort of a peachy pink color, and I used that to make some flowers and a little bit here as an accent. And then I used this gorgeous tulle trim that Kim has in the shop in many different colors, and I used that around the edge behind the leaves. And then this trim that was in my design team package that was it's on a chiffon type background, I cut them out and I used them as appliques, and then I used them as accents. So here I've got a cluster of them, and down here I added little flat back pearls onto them. So these are little 4mm flat backs that I glued in the center of the flowers. And then I did some dripping down here as well and added in little pearls on these ones as well. And then I used some of these tea colored or beigey colored flowers that she has in the shop. These are so pretty. Added a couple of those in, and then this is one of her beautiful blings. This is the bow with the little dangle pieces, and I left the dangle pieces free to move around. I added another piece of her bling here. This is the beautiful heart with the bit of a dome shape on it and the rhinestones around the edge. And then I added a third piece here in this little heart charm that was also in my design team package, and I glued it here so it looks like it's kind of dangling between these 2 little buds. And then these 2 flowers and these 3 buds, and I'm going to add 2 more because I wanted to show you these are really easy. There's obviously just the lace with the edge of tulle that's on the bottom of it. I just gathered it up between the end of I've cut it all off now, but I'll show you. Here's a little piece left. And here, that tool was extended on the bottom here. And I just gather through here, so along the bottom of the embroidery, and leave the tool. And then the tool puffs up in the center and acts right away as a second layer to your flower. And then I just glue a pearl bead in the center. And there's already, this pearl was on here, and there's pearls in the center of these flowers. And so I wanted to add some pearls in these flowers. And these little buds I made with just 3, and that's these 3 little scallops from that lace, and I cut along here and took away the rest of the tool. And then I just did a gathering stitch, so just ran my needle through the bottom, in and out, doing a gathering stitch on the bottom. And then you just gather that up so that you have it like this, and tie it off. And you can see it already is forming. The only thing I have to look there, this is the right side. And it gathers into this little bud. And so I have this one ready. It's already gathered and tied off. And you can see how it easily turns into that little bud. And then all I did was put, you can use whatever glue is your glue of choice. I happen to like hot glue. It's quick, and my fingers are completely dead on the ends to the hot glue. I don't usually have a problem with burning myself any longer. And then what I did was I took a pin, a straight pin with a large head on it, and I added a pearl to it, and then I put that in the center of these little, and I'll show you on these ones. I'll just tip this up. You can see the little pearls are here, and they show through the ends of these little buds. There's 3 of them here. And so I just thought I liked the idea of having something in the center for the stamen, and I liked the idea of using the pearls, so I just added them on the ends of the pins. And then I just pushed it into the center of there. And then all you have to do is that little metal piece comes down into your little piece here. You can push it right down in there. You can even sometimes see it come right, you can, yeah, it's right here. You can see it almost coming out the bottom. So then you know when you glue this down. And what I do when I glue them down is I take the spot where the seam is, which is right there, and I make that the spot that I glue down. So I put a little bit of glue at the stem, and then a little bit of glue there where I joined it together. And then I want this one right here. So that's where I'm going to place it. And then the second one, which is the one that we started here, and I think I'm going to have to, I pulled the thread through. So I'll quickly just gather this up. Sorry for the interruption there. My husband walked in and started talking. So anyways, I'm just tying off this other little one and putting another pearl pin with the bead on it into the center of there, and then a little bit of glue there to seal that up. And I know I've shown on other videos, when I use my hot glue gun, I often, especially when I'm working on small things like this, I often just squeeze the glue to the end of the tip like that. And then I back off on squeezing the trigger so it doesn't get any bigger than that. So you end up with a very small amount on going onto your project. I find it's easier to add more glue after, and I glued that. I can't even see where couldn't even see where I'd put the first bit of glue on there, just cutting that string off. And then the same idea, just decide where you want to put it, and I want this one here, so there she's gonna go. And there's just adding a couple more buds onto the project, and I like how this color happens to match one of the diamond pieces in this diamond painting. And I like how this color is drawn here and then into the painting and then up this side and then a little bit at the top too. I just think it looks really pretty. At the bottom, I used the beautiful scallop trim that was in my design team package. That's this gorgeous one. I added that around the whole base. And then I did add some little flat back pearls, pearly beads on to accent the middles of those little flowers and to bring a little bit of pearls down into the bottom. And then I think that's everything that I did on there. She's turned out super pretty. There's a little piece of lace at the top here as well behind these two scallops, and this is also from Kim's shop. This is a 2-inch flat lace which is netted and has embroidery on it, and it's sort of in a very soft creamy color. Gorgeous, gorgeous lace. I've had it before with my laces, and I love that one so much. And then on the back, I put 2 rows of that gorgeous flat lace in that tea or light beige color, and I just overlapped them down the center with the scallop. And then you can see this lace coming around the back with the pearls in the center of here. I did cut the top off this lace. It has, it comes with this heavier string of stitching at the top, and I often take that off. For me, it's similar to tearing paper as opposed to cutting paper. This to me looks more like a torn edge, although I have cut it, but it just looks, I don't know, I find it blends better than when you have the harsh stitching edges. So that's what I tend to do. And then in the corner here, I had a little scrappy flower. Oh, got a little tag along there. I'll show you that in a minute. I had a little scrappy flower in my stash from Kim, and I believe she still has them in the shop. She sells them, I think, in sets of 4. And I took it and I took the button out of the center and I added a few other little pieces in from my own stash, a couple little leaves here, put a couple of little scrolly pieces from the laces from that she sent me in behind it. And then I changed the button out for this pretty piece that she sent me in the pearls and the rhinestones. And that's a flat back. And added that to the middle of that flower. And I put that in the corner at the back of the book. I really liked to add something a little bit more on the back. It sits quite flat. These little scrappy flowers are very low profile, so they're really nice to use as they don't add a lot of height or bulk to your project. And that other little piece that was tagging along there, along the bottom of this lace, and if you want to refer back to my design team package, you'll know that it came with a scallop on the bottom. So each one of these little pieces has a big piece of chiffon fabric at the top, and then this is connected at the bottom with a scallop. And because I decided to do a lot of cutting with these, fussy cutting, and using them more like a applique, I had these left. And I've said before, I don't throw out anything. I don't waste anything. And when I was making that little scrappy flower, it made me think of these. And although I didn't use them in that one, so all I did was cut off a bit of this chiffon on the sides here. And it's hard to see through the camera which is the right side. This is the right side. And sometimes people ask me how I know. If you can see there, the stitching is kind of rough looking. It's not as pretty and not as shiny as it is on the right side. So that's often an indicator, is just looking at your actual, and you can see that it looks different. So what I did with these is I took them and I joined the bottoms together to make a little loop. And to join them together, yeah, you got it, a little bit of hot glue. I don't even own Fabri-Tac. It's not in my arsenal of craft supplies. So there's your little loop, And yes, it's got this chiffon sticking up at the top here. And after your loop is formed, you press it flat and just cut that off. Just cut straight across and take that excess off. You can see about how far I'm up. Not cutting it right off. And then when your loop comes back, it just has a little opening in the center. Then I started a scrappy flower. So here I have a little doily. I have some little pieces that I had, and I have a little bit of gathered lace. And then this layer is those. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I think there's room there for one more. And I'm just going to pop that one right in there. Actually, I have one already made that I'm going to pop in there. So that little loop goes in there, and make sure it's at the level of the other ones. You want it to all blend together. And there we go. And then what I will do is I'll add in a couple more pieces on either side of that, of this little trim that I used here. And there I have a scrappy little flower. And I used those, that scallop wasn't wasted, it was used to make that little flower. And of course, grab a little bling. This is originally from Kim's shop, still have it in my stash, but it looks perfect in there, and there you go. We've got an instant little flower. It's not super high profile. Again, it's fairly low profile. Just put a little piece of felt on the back that I bought from the dollar store, and it's pretty. And I can add that on a project. Sometimes I will add these with a ribbon tied onto a package when I give it as a gift, or as a something along with if someone purchases something from me. And so that's how I use those. And so I usually try and make them up as I'm going along, because I just find it's easier, and then I don't lose my little scraps. So that's just another little tip. If you have little scraps and want to put them together, or as you're making your projects, you might want to do that as well. So this is my second design team project. It's actually my third video for this month for projects. I did do an extra one, which was a tutorial and showed you how to do make a project with an envelope, and I also showed some glassine bags that I decorated. So I think that's the previous video. If you haven't seen that one, it might be fun to watch. And please don't forget to go over and check out AngeldreamCraftsKim on Etsy, link in the description box below. Link to the designers, all very talented, all making very inspiring projects. Link to the Facebook group and Instagram for AngeldreamCraftsKim is also in the description box below if you're interested. And I will talk to you all soon. Bye for now.